Hello everybody and welcome back to Spellweaver. So, well, we were kind of supposed to have the remainder of the, whatchamacallit, the trials, but that's what happens. Balance changes! And this is an issue so great that it's like it cannot be left untalked about. So I'm here to, express my opinions about what is happening. Yeah, there are substantial balance changes in this game update affecting many cards that define the most played decks during the last months. Yes, I can agree with it. That, most of the cards updated, if not all of them, they were really the, top, 30 of cards played except Shrines or something like this. Yeah, because spoiler alert, actually no Shrines were changed unless I forgot about something. There's also this one interesting thing. You will be able to unbind cards that were not made strictly better for their full Shrine cost until March 17. This is something which I would argue with, because that were not made strictly better. So this considers the fact that some cards have been made strictly better, because there are cards that get pure bonus of +1 to attack or +1 to health, right? I don't remember correctly. I mean, I have the whole list open, but that's a whole different story. Yeah, I would have to look closely at it, and I'm too lazy to look for the precise card. But there are some cards that have been, given a vague changes, like they've got, for example, their cost reduced, but in exchange for the increased level. And this is, well, something. So yeah, sorry, I got distracted looking at those patch notes again, but yeah, you can get some cards for their full price. This is really nice. So let's get to it. I will open the collection crafting. There it is. And we'll go, yeah, in the order they were listed in the forums topic with the with all the changes. So it starts with order. So we'll stick to order. And first of all is Hermelion, Hand of Justice. So here he is, and as you can see here, and let me read it directly from the Spellweaver forums. The hero skill has a variable cost of 1 plus the number of creatures affected, capped at 3. And we can read from here that it is: pay up to 3 mana, ready that many allied creatures and restore their full HP, move to your deploy phase. Now, before the ability was something along the lines of ready all creatures and restore all HP to them and move to your deploy phase. So basically, what this changes is that insane attacks with Hermelion's ability executing like, a 7 or something like this creatures attacking at once are kind of blocked, and then Hermelion has to, player playing as Hermelion has to decide which creatures they want to play with. I presume this is mostly to counter the what it was called, the green Hermelion deck, which was, based on playing a lot of cheap and fairly weak creatures like the Elf Scout or something like this. and, you know, just exploiting Hermilion's ability to use them all over and over again more times than you should be able to do. And because they were greens, the nature, they were pretty fast, difficult to get rid of, and thus this made a very overpowered deck. Now Hermilion will, you know, can only affect 3 creatures, so that is something. Well, in the end of the day, he is marked as not the obviously make it better card, and thus you can unbind him for the full price. Although there is one thing worth noting, actually people were already crying about this on forums, that if you unbind the hero, you cannot rebuy the hero's pack. Now, I'm not 100% sure if you cannot get this hero's pack from the level up drops, because yeah, you get every, I mean, you get 1 hero pack every 5 levels. But yeah, with this in mind, I wouldn't totally recommend unbinding your heroes. Yeah, I mean, just in case. Just in case something else is changed to them. Maybe someday they will be changed even more. Maybe they will become useful again. You know, stuff might happen. And truth to be told, Hermilion is still very powerful hero. And his ability is still very powerful. I mean, it's mere 4 mana. I don't remember how much it costed before. Unluckily, I don't have any notes of how much it used to cost, but that's irrelevant. That was, I think it cost 3 mana, but I'm not 100% sure. That's just my guess. Anyway, so that's Hermilion. This is a good change. I totally approve of this change, and this is truly a balanced change. Now, the next card affected from Order again is Word of Grace, so let's filter only spells and find the Word of Grace, which now gains 2 life plus 1 extra life for each of your Order levels. Now, before, Word of Grace would give you 2 extra life for each of your Order level, plus a card. This doesn't change, but this is slightly nerfed to the Word of Grace, which is good. I mean, technically, at low levels, it is fairly boosted, because before, when you would play it on, I wonder if the requirements were changed, I don't remember. If you would play it on the having only 1 Order level, it would give you only 2 health. Now it gives you 3 health for playing it on 1 Order level. But when you have 2 Order levels, which is, you know, probably more likely, especially if you're playing Order deck, not something that uses Order as a supplementary aspect, then it's more likely that you will have at least 2 Order levels, and then Word of Grace is like equaled with what it used to be before, and only after that the bonus starts to diminish into less and less useful. Although this doesn't seem to be able to transfer in the other direction. Now, I'm not sure whether it's because I don't have any of these, or is it because they don't consider it a debuff. But whatever. And another card that gets elegantly changed, yeah, I say elegantly, because this is Instill Life. And let me read directly from the forums. Instill Life. Level requirement is back to 2 Order. From 1, it's like 2-0, so they mean like I have no idea what they mean, like 2 Order levels, or 2 random levels and 1 Order. Yeah, probably. from 100. I mean, it's like oh wait, now I see it. Oh, I was totally blind. Okay, so yep, I was totally blind. It took me way too long to realize it. But this is the way they write it down is kind of difficult. So it's 20 from 100, which is 2 random levels and 1 order level. And it used to be, yeah, exactly as it says, it used to be 2 order levels and 1 random levels. So you cannot argue with this, that this was purely a boost, and honestly, I would have hard time agreeing with this decision. I mean, in Still Life is pretty powerful card, because it's returning those cards not from your, not to your hand, but it's returning them directly to the field. And for that, I mean, if we are allowing the more variety of other levels to be, of other aspects to be played with it, would personally say that it might be a better idea to up the cost, probably. Yeah, I think that would be fair, because, well, this card got definitely buffed, and I don't really think that this card needed a buff. This was a very powerful card on its own. But that's just my idea. Then what we have are the changes to the Wisdom. These are all the changes to Order. Only those 3 cards were changed in Order. But there are much more cards changed in Wisdom. So let's go to these, and there are no heroes changed for Wisdom, so both versions of Darius and the Elrica work as they used to, but what changes is actually many creatures, starting with Shifting Orite, which got mana cost increased to 2 from 1. Yeah, I mean, I could only say that with something that insane when it comes to stats, and, you know, you can fairly easily get a pretty decent, you know, flying ranged, flying deadly, ranged deadly, deadly unstoppable, swift unstoppable, or whatever weird combination you might be going for. I mean, of course, you won't probably be going for all 5 aspects in one deck, although I don't think it's impossible to do. So, well, this is a very specific card. It will feel, you know, a very specific, very limited role in very thin variety of decks, but you cannot say that it's a weak card, so I could agree with it. Then we have the Sunborn Subordinate, which got its attack decreased to 2. It used to be 3, and looking at it, well, the fact that it gets Lifebound when it's paired with Order level makes it insanely, and I can't emphasize it enough, insanely powerful. You know, 3 damage on something that is Lifebound. Well, it's also flying, so it's hard to deal with this. It can deal 1 damage to all creatures it's engaged in combat with. And 3 attack is already, you know, pretty much significant amount of attack to kill most of the creatures. And then those that could resist, you can easily deal 1 damage with its ability. And yeah, this makes it way overpowered. Now, with its ability, with its cost, with its levels, it is still a very powerful card. It's still worth its cost, it's still worth the investment. And yet it is a little bit more balanced. Another thing we have is the Frost Elemental, which is actually, yeah, they do not consider it a pure buff, they consider it a something in between, because this is one of these examples I mentioned, because this got its mana cost decreased to 2, well, it used to cost 3, but now the level is increased to 1 neutral and 1 wisdom, and it used to be only 1 wisdom. Where it gets us? Pretty much nowhere. I mean, it's pretty much the same card as it used to be. There might be a slight shift in dynamics of this card being played, but very, very minor. So, I would say this is mostly an experiment. How it will fare in such a situation where it requires more levels but less mana. You know, the usefulness of something like a Frost Elemental, it's very versatile creature. It can be pretty much as useful early on in the game as it is later in the game. And, you know, this change doesn't really change anything. Like, maybe makes it slightly more versatile to early use when you actually have the ability to play, you know, you are facing the decision whether to play more of the cheaper things or one more expensive thing. You know, using something like this might not always be the most obvious idea, because you would look at it and you say, well, I have to spend like 3 of my 4 resources, and by doing that I cannot use anything else, and it has only 1 attack. Is it really the best idea? Maybe I should invest in 2 creatures with a cost of 2. But then when you have this one with a cost of 2 and potentially the guy with a shield emblems, Forest Field Protector, whatever is his name, Forest Mage Protector, then you can go, well, then with this 4 mana I can play one of these and one of this, and this is a fairly decent combo. So, yeah, this is a change. I personally even cannot tell whether it's a good change or bad change. It's just a change. Another change happens, and this is not a good change. And I think that probably more people will agree with me on that. Charged Aurite. Now starts with 2 energy, but used to start with 1, but the regeneration of the energy is removed. And this makes this card total bullshit. I mean, the whole idea with this card was deciding whether you want to play it now or play it later, hold on to it, or, you know, spend and invest your mana right away into it, because it is flying, so you can fairly safely keep it at bay behind everything and let it sit there and grind the energy up to the moment when you will be able to drop something ultra powerful and, you know, benefit from this energy the most. But you also, you know, your opponent, seeing that you are grinding the energy on that thing, they might be expecting it, and it was also on their side to find the best moment to counteract against the charged Aurite. Because when you've been sitting with this charged Aurite and it has like 7 energy already, and your opponent thinks, crap, this is getting dangerous, because you know what might happen? My opponent might drop the Spectri Aurite any second now, and if this thing will get boosted with 7 additional energy, that will be ridiculous. So, you know, that put this element of, you know, strategy on both ends of the field. Now, what is it? It's like you drop it once, like probably right before you are about to drop something else that uses energy, and then dump it at the first occasion, because then it's useless. Totally useless. I mean, in the worst case scenario, if you would say that this ability is slightly overpowered, which I would argue with, there are situations where it can be used in the overpowered manner, but it's not like it cannot be, you know, counteracted. You know, you can counter this. There are cards that, you know, allow you to get rid of something that is flying in the support lane, you know, without attacking it directly. And you know, when you see your opponent like grinding insane amount of energy on this, you know, you as a player who has to face it, not the one who uses it, but the one who has to face it. You also have to think, you know, is he charging it because, you know, he had nothing better to play and then just played it? Or is my opponent really trying to, you know, drop a lethal blow by grinding insane amount of energy? And maybe I would be good wasting these, I don't know, let's say fireball that deals 3 damage. It could be used against something more powerful than that. But you know, if this thing grinds 10 energy on itself, and then the foundry engineers, right? Yeah, and then the foundry engineers are dropped, and instantly drop like 5 more golems on the field, then, you know, the fireball will be of no use against 3 golems, so maybe it is, you know, better to waste it on the charged Orite that has a lot of energy stored. Now it's more blunt. I mean, of course, like, theoretically, you could use all of these various ways Wisdom has to increase the energy of other cards. But why would you then increase this thing's energy? You would be better off increasing anything else's energy, not this thing's. Like, why would you ever do that? So this is the probably following the order on the forums, the first change that I'm heavily disappointed with and that I really don't like. And this is not the only one, because it's immediately followed with another one, although this one is well, actually no, this one is not that aggravating, because it's the Dust Titan, which is changed. Because now it starts with 4 energy, while it used to start with only 3. The stats are risen by 1 on both attack and the health, but the energy regeneration is removed. And all in all, I could say that yes, it is a good idea. Because, you know, Dust Titan out of control could have grown into insane, really, really insane power, because, you know, every time it got a Might Emblem, it was getting the energy. Sorry, the other way around. Every time it got energy, it's been getting a Might Emblem, and it was passively getting energy every turn, if I remember correctly. So, very quickly, these could have become, you know, insanely overpowered creatures, very difficult to deal with. Now, Wisdom still has many other ways to give energy to the Titans, and also they, like, start with 1 free Might Emblem on them, so all in all, I say that this is a good balance. We would have to see how it plays, but I think from what I see right now that this is a great balance. And I think out of all, I forgot to mention the library guards. Have I mentioned the library guards? No, I think I started with the shifting. Alright, my bad. These guys would have been actually before the shifting, alright, and this is something that as someone who plays Wisdom, I wouldn't be satisfied of, but as someone who plays against Wisdom, that would make me very happy. I mean, there are 2 things that Wisdom is great at. The first thing is energy, like managing it, restoring it, and using it in all weird manners. And the second thing is grinding more cards. And before you realize, you are sitting there empty-handed, or like with 1 shrine, or like any sort of, but 1 card, while your Wisdom opponent has a full hand and can barely hold all those cards in their hand. And yet they start another turn and draw 2 cards, draw 1 card, drop library guards that give them 1 card, And at the end of the turn, they have a bigger hand than they had at the end of the turn. And like, what the heck is going on? So, putting this mana barrier on the library guards, it is something to consider. Because now you will have to spend your precious resource that you might otherwise spend on something else. But aside from that, there is the important thing that you cannot really use those guys effectively early on in the game to put a barrier that, with their speed, with their health, it was very difficult, especially, early on in the game when you have to deal with low-level, low-cost creatures. It could have become very difficult to get rid of those guys because they are pretty tough. But at the same time, your opponent was also getting one more card. Now, this will force either A, the lesser amount of cards drawn, or, on the other hand, the delay in the library guards being played. Because people would rather hold on to them if they are more focused on drawing the cards rather than dropping strong creatures. So that's pretty nice. And I think I haven't missed any of the wisdom creatures that have, or cards in general, that were changed. But there was quite a lot of those. And next is the nature with, well, spoiler alert, again, a lot of changes, starting with no one else but Keanu himself, or actually Kainu. Edge of the Spear. As the Spellweaver form says, you can now play any creature of level 2 or less under Kainu. You pay the full cost and the skill cost is 0. And back then it used to be, actually I don't remember the skill cost, but it was something like play the creature with cost of 3 mana or less from your hand under Kainu without paying its mana cost. So I think it might have actually costed 3 to use this skill, although I'm not 100% sure, so don't quote me on that. But basically you could have taken any creature with any given cost and play it, like, cheaper, on a discount. With a Might Emblem. Yeah, I forgot this part of a Might Emblem. And also it could have been creature with any level. It didn't matter. Now it is restricted to creatures with level 2 or less, so it kind of balances that out, and you have to play the mana cost of that creature rather than, being fully dependent on some abstract value of the skill cost, which is... makes sense somewhat, to some extent. Probably something. But more concerning are the other changes, like first of all the Tornado Outbreak, that has its mana cost increased to 2 from 1, but level decreased from 1 nature level and 1 neutral level, or like any level, to just 1 nature level. And I would say this kind of poses an opportunity for this card to be played earlier, although this is a very, very similar situation with as we had with the Frost Elemental. I'm really, really torn apart about this. I don't know personally what to think about this. All I can tell is that I really don't like to play against this card, because this is a really annoying card to play against. But even worse than that is another change, aka the Landslide, which has its mana cost reduced from 4 to 3. and everything else remains the same. And in my opinion, this is bad, because Landslide, as it was already very powerful card. And, you know, if it would drop the creature cards from the field into the hand, I would say, okay, let's go with the cheaper with the cheaper card. But since it's dropping the cards on top of the owner's deck, I mean, of course, this is like you only delay them ever so slightly. They are back on top of your deck. So it's not like, you know, they are somewhere at the bottom or in the middle and you have no idea when you will see those cards again. But the problem is that you are blocked from getting new cards, which might be, you know, important in other ways. So, you know, it's also another form of blocking. And again, they don't consider it a debuff, so it's left with the standard pricing on it. Next, what do we have next? Next we have changes to creatures, so let's go to creatures and start with the pretty fresh, right from the, what were they called? The Birthday Pinatas, the Centaur Illusionist. Now, the Centaur Illusionist has, when Centaur Illusionist enters the field, you may return a non-Centaur creature you own to your hand. If you do, that creature costs 2 less this turn. Before, the ability said something along the lines of, the next creature you play this turn costs 2 less. Something like this. Now, this is really nice. This is card that will help you, deal with the negative effects that have been applied to your card. That's what I was looking for. Cleansing the card and then, you know, replaying it for, well, in many cases for free, or in case of, you know, stronger creatures for almost nothing. So, yeah, this is a very interesting change. I think that this way it is a little bit more reasonable, because, you know, allowing you to play any creature for less would be kinda unfair. So, all in all, I think this is a good change. But what we have next is the Life Force Incarnate, and what do we have here? Oh yeah, Life Force Incarnate is basically nerfed quite heavily, because it used to have something along the line of at the start of your Life Force Incarnate controller's turn, you may return a random creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Now, it's limited only to when Life Force Incarnate enters the field. So, instead of, you know, reanimating virtually infinite amount of cards, it is now restricted to reanimating only one. And the part about the attack and HP being equal to the number of creatures you control remains the same. And there is also one more minor change made to the nature cards. This is the Summoner Druid here, which has been changed from requiring 1 nature level to requiring 1 nature level and 1 any level, but had his HP increased to 2 instead of having just 1. Yeah. I mean, not much I can say about this. It's not like I'm using this card or anything. This is pretty expensive. How long is this taking already? Well, pretty long, but luckily we are getting closer to an end, because all we have left are Corruption, Dominion, and Rage. So let me make it quicker, and let's start with the with Rage, because Rage, despite being listed as the last in the patch notes, has actually the least, well, it is equal with something else, but we'll get to it. Yeah, with Corruption. Okay, spoiler alert. Alongside Corruption, Rage has the least changes to the cards, with only 2 cards being affected for both Rage and Corruption. So let me get quickly over this, because in Rage, the only thing that gets altered are heroes. Firstly, there is the Zash the Annihilator. And this is very tricky, because it has the recharge time increased to 4 turns instead of 3. You know, this is what Zash the Annihilator has is a very powerful ability, but the cost of this ability, and not only the mana cost, but also the cost, like the non-material cost of this, that it backfires at you for 3 damage to all your creatures, not only your enemy creatures. You know, it's pretty considerable. And well, I would really like to know the actual stats, like how often is this skill really used, and does it really need to have the recharge time increased to 4 instead of 3? Because in my opinion, no, it doesn't. But yeah, probably if you know, if they have the proper stats, you know, collected out of how many games with Zash people were using, you know, this ability, how many times they were able to use this ability, and how many times they used it, yada yada, all this bullshit, maybe they figure out that it is worth changing. In my opinion, these cards should be reworked completely. Okay? Like, from the ground. Because I don't really think this is a good ability, and no amount of tweaking will make it good. I mean, probably some amount of tweaking will make it good, but it will be such an amount that it will no longer be the same ability. Nowhere close, okay? And the other thing that gets changed for Rage is the Burk the Uncontainable. It's basically made a little bit more versatile, because it now can pay up to 3 mana to deal that much damage. So 1 for 1 mana, 2 damage for 2 mana, 3 damage for 3 mana. To up to 2 enemy creatures on the front line, they deal damage to Burk equal to their 80k. And basically it used to be like fixed at 2 mana with 2 damage or something like this. So yeah, it gives him a little bit more versatility, allowing him to either, you know, be played earlier on, or, you know, in a more offensive but kind of a less powerful way. Maybe more of a support to your other creatures, rather than, you know, going insanely over the top and trying to kill everything himself. So this is not a bad upgrade, this is not a good upgrade, this is just, you know, making it a little bit more versatile. So as I said, this is all for the Rage, nothing else was changed. And before we go to the Dominion, because Dominion has actually quite a lot of cards, let's jump quickly to the Corruption, because Corruption has only a couple of cards changed, just like Rage. And these are spells rather than the heroes, as it used to be with Rage. And if you've been looking carefully, you've probably spotted a pattern that the cards that have been changed and can be unbound for free have actually this pink symbol instead of the regular blue. So as you can see, the Consume Spirit has been changed, and this is, as someone who plays a lot with Corruption, I'd say that I'm okay with this change. I mean, it slightly changes the playstyle, but not dramatically. And as long as you don't become too forgetful about the card's new functionality, you should be fine. Because basically, instead of, you know, it doesn't reduce your opponent's attack anymore, and it doesn't boost your creature's health anymore. Everything else remained the same. Like, I hope I put it clearly enough. If not, then let me read the descriptions from the forums. Decreases only the HP and increase only the ATK of the affected creatures. So that's it. And the second card is actually Spoils of War, nicely buffed from costing 3 mana, the cost reduced to only 2. Bam, that's all. Now let's get to Dominion, because for Dominion we will have a lot to talk about. Like, first of all, there is the Spina Insatiable Soul with her ability Twisted Insanely. Now you can pay up to 5 mana, and the next turn you will have +1 mana for each mana you paid. So, as they call it, and I think it's slightly more descriptive on the forums, you can play 1 plus X mana up to 5 to transfer X mana into your next turn. Pretty self-explanatory. It's a big twist. That's all I have to say about it, honestly. It's a huge twist on how she used to play, because she used to be like, for paying 3 mana, you could have like recharged all your mana crystals. So I guess it was totally useless early on in the game. With this thing now, it can be more useful early on in the game, where, you know, you have like 4 mana crystals, and you play this card with cost of 2, and you have 2 mana left over, and you have nothing else to play with a cost of 2, and maybe not even anything with cost of 1, but you might have something with a cost of 1, but it's not really worth playing it, because reasons or something. So you can just, you know, transfer this mana to your next turn. Of course, it costs you 1 mana to do so, but still, you will have a little bit more next turn. This might help you do something else, so it's not that bad. Not that bad. Not that bad at all. And the second hero being changed is also the Coronis, the Blood Reaper, which is getting purely debuffed. There is nothing buffed around him. Yet he is not marked with the pink symbol. This is why I'm curious. And there is nothing regarding the cheaper recrafting. I wonder if it happens only in the in the case of I wonder if this is like a sort of a bug caused because I don't have those cards or whatever. But basically, lose 2 life, summon a Soul Raven on the field. This is the same at the end of this turn. If the enemy hero was dealt damage this turn, put a Might Emblem on each allied Soul Raven without a Might Emblem. So this is basically like the only part that changes is that part without a Might Emblem added, limiting the Soul Ravens to only 1 Might Emblem per Soul Raven, which makes them a little bit more crappy, to be honest. Yeah, they become quite useless, especially that they still cost you 2 life to play. Well, they are life bound. Were they always life bound? I am not sure about that. And if they were, then it truly was overpowered. If they weren't, then I don't see anything marked about this thing. Anyway, the next thing we're having changed is... where is it? Well, actually, these are spells. I wanted to go to creatures, but if we are at spells, Inherited Wealth is getting changed. Yeah, basically the part about this one, these pay 1 mana. As it says on the Spellweaver forums, in the official change notes, I've lost it. Here it is. You don't play the slaves, so they can no longer get swift from Niva's hero skill. And to understand that fully, we need to look at what is Niva's skill. All creatures you play this turn are swift until end of turn. And I think that at this point it's pretty much self-explanatory. Also, another thing that got changed for spells in Dominion is the Cataclysm that got its cost increased to 6. Makes sense. This is way too overpowered card, so it should have an insane cost. I wouldn't mind seeing like a 3rd level requirement or on this, you know, having it 3 levels, 6 mana. Yeah, that would be something to consider. Because this is insanely overpowered card. And when it comes to overpowered cards, this update is doing a lot to prevent overpowered cards. Why am I saying so? Because we are having Jakri, the Riot something something. Let me find this guy. Here it is. Jakri, Riot Instigator. He is having his attack decreased to 3. He used to have 4 attack, now he attacks for only 3. Then the Raging Minotaur. He used to have 5 attack, now has only 4. Then Slave Gladiator. Where are you? Here. Slave Gladiator now has health reduced from 2 to 1. Am I right? Yes, I am right. So less healthy Slave Gladiators. Also, Blood-Seeking Mutant no longer can get more Might Emblems if already has Might Emblems. It's like the same thing that happens with this stupid whatever was their name, period. The crows or ravens from the Coronis' skill. So basically, in spite of the changes, yeah, this is like we've gone over all the cards that have been changed. You can find the full notes on the Spellweaver forums. I think I will drop the link in the video description or somewhere, so you can find this if you want yourself. And I'm gonna open these 13 small packs you can see here. Well, great, I made a bug. I tried to open it too fast. Nothing new here. Let's open the next one. The reason why I'm opening this is because I am hoping to cheat a little bit on the system. Namely, I want to get as many of these changed cards as possible. And I wanna, if possible, if it's not preventing this... Oh, my first copy of Moonlight Monument, nice. I want to disenchant them to grind as many free shrines as possible. Ooh, first copy of Goblin Looter. Swift, when Goblin Looter deals combat damage to a hero, draw a card. That's interesting. And so far, nothing of the affected cards appeared here. Airship Explorer, Metabolic Overcharger. These are not really that bad on packs. But they are not brilliant either. Because I have found 0 of the affected creature charged. Alright. So we have 1. Well, that was 1. Oh, well, that happens. But fear not, because, yeah, one thing I actually wanted to do, I wanted to accumulate enough gold to be able to buy single packs to be equivalent of a box. And a box is 120 cards, so as we can do quick maths, we need 12 normal packs to be equivalent of these. So, 150,000 gold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I've lost the count. Let me just make sure how many I have bossed so far. 10. So, yep, 2 more. 1 and 2. And now we will have an opening of 120 cards from the normal packs. And again, we are mainly looking for the cards that are affected by the changes. Ooh, Shiny Fiery Sunrise and the Bloodwell Matriarch. These are somewhat new. Oh, a Pegasus, that's nice. Murderous Chieftain, that's new, and a Power Seeker. None of these seems shiny. None of these seems to be one of the affected cards. But aside from that, I am pretty happy with the draws so far, so yeah. I mean, I would be happier if I would find more of the... Oh, Cataclysm! So this is like 2 of the affected cards. And my first copy of Spellwarden, I really wonder if they have predicted someone trying to do something. Oh, and Instill Life was there, so there is the 3, although I'm not sure if Instill Life is affected by the price change. My first copy of Succubus. Let's get more. So if I haven't missed anything, that will be like 3 copies of the affected cards. Nothing exceptionally eye-catching. Oh, actually, yeah, well timed. This is actually something that I would consider exceptionally eye-catching, and I think we have reached the cap on the lightning bolts. We will be unbinding those. My first copy of Spoils of War. Actually, I won't count these because even though it has been included in the changes, this was purely buffed, so it's not getting any cheaper. I mean, you're not getting any bonus shrines from disenchanting it. Ooh, Cloning Vat. It's not marked as a new one. I don't recall having it. I don't even know what it does. But I don't care. And a lot of Power Surges, which is good. Power Surges are good. Oh, look, this one's shiny. And we have the Slave Gladiator, so I hope we will be able to disenchant this guy. Or actually unbind, that's what they call it, right? I think we've hit the caps on drones today. Also quite a few Pegasi. I'm not sure if that will be 4 or not. Yep. But I'm out of money. I'm out of cards. So once again, we're going through these. We're not disenchanting Hermelion, although I will be disenchanting most of the other cards. And the other affected cards include Instill Life cannot be affected. Oh crap. I have a lot of pacifies to take care of. And yes, we've hit the limit on Pegasi, though I'm not sure how much it is because we had already been over or not. Charged, alright, so I'm not sure whether I want to get rid of these or not, especially that they are only 5 shrines, so this is not that insane. Actually, yeah, I'm going the easy way. I'm looking for the symbols. Well, I could actually Dex Spectral Power. So it has a couple of charged aurites and a couple of frost elementals. So I will get a couple of each done. Artifact spells. Yeah, just a couple. We'll go through the native shrines. Why not? To get 10 wisdom shrines. Oh, 3 copies into a shrine type of your choice, so probably I cannot do those that I have unlocked today yet. I have only 3 of those? No, I have 4 of those. Yet I can unbind only 3. Wonder why is that? Probably it is what I'm saying, that confirm. Probably this is this protection that I was afraid of. We'll see, we'll see. So where is the... there is the... oh, and this gives actually 10 shrines. Well, I will have... well, no, but if I had 2 in this deck, I cannot, you know... I wouldn't be able to disenchant 3. Because I had 2 in the starter deck already. And there is no way I have round 3 to 2 today. No, I'm confused. Whatever. So maybe we should disenchant those into some different copies. I mean, into some different one to get 10 wisdom shrines. Confirm. Yeah. But take it again. And let's unbind 1, but let's get, for example, the order shrines. You will get 10 order shrines, confirm. Yeah, because I'm lower on the order shrines. And what else was affected from here? These guys, but I don't have these guys. Dust Titans, but I have only a couple of those, and I'd rather keep those. And the library guards... I'm not sure how many I have in the deck, and let's say I will keep them as they are. But here are the nature cards, and what I am disenchanting from here... I may unbind a tornado outbreak. Yes, 1 singular. Yeah, just because... this is the prime time to unbind these cards, because they grind 150 nature shrines. Confirm. I need no more nature shrines in my life. Well, I probably do. That shit can be pretty expensive later on in the game, I presume. Let's go for the black shrines. Why not? I already have relatively a lot of the other ones. That is... all from these, and from the rage. From the rage there will be no one available. From the corruption there will be no one available, especially if they don't have more than 4 consume spirits, and I don't really want to destroy them. Also, I have gotten 1 of Spoils of War, but yeah, I'd rather keep those. I'm keeping heroes, not only because I want to use them, but also because they are useful. But I am willing to get rid of both of the inherited wealths. All for Dominion Shrines? Yes, all for Dominion Shrines. Here comes 100 Dominion Shrines. Oh my god, I feel so rich with all those hundreds thrown at me. Blood-seeking mutant? I'm not sure. But cataclysms, I am definitely unbinding these. Let's unbind 1 for rage. And the other cataclysm... aww. And the other cataclysm I can unbind only for 10 Dominion Shrines. That sucks. Then I'm just gonna quick unbind, which will give me a total of 50 shrines. 42 common and 4 uncommon cards. Unbind them all. I get 9 order shrines, 6 wisdom shrines, 5 nature shrines, 8 rage shrines, 13 dominion shrines, and 9 corruption shrines. If we will go to just shrines, all aspects, I have 43 of order, 49 of wisdom, 184 of nature. God damn it, I can create almost anything from nature now. I have 81 from Rage, 139 from Dominion, and 83 from Corruption. And this video is probably an hour or probably even over an hour now. So we're definitely not gonna grind the one last whatever it was called, one last trial today. But we had much more important, and I would risk saying that even a little bit more interesting things to do today, won't you say? Wasn't that fun? We opened so many new cards. Well, actually, not many of them were new, but yeah, more new cards, more shrines. That is awesome. Would love to get to crafting, but I don't have anything planned for crafting specifically, so crafting might take like forever right now, because yeah, I am not prepared. So that will mean I would have to like browse all the cards, so it will take forever. So yeah, rather than do that, I will probably go and figure out something later on, and maybe we will have some crafting in the next video. Why not? We'll see. Anyway, that will be it for today. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, like, subscribe, share the video, and I'll see you next week for more Spellweaver. Oh my god, that was a lot of very fast talking on my end today, wasn't it? But I knew that we had a lot to do, and we're very short on time. But I think we managed everything. Anyway, once again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week. Take care.